Check a couple spots real quick. Make sure this thing's ready to roll. Looks good. All right, fellas, let's do this thing. And here we go in five, four, three, two, and one. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome Home Podcast. I'm your host, Face the Garden, the Joe Bubba Coast Hugh.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
And in today's episode, we are going to recap that loss to Missouri. And who's going to help us do that? None other than former Gamecock linebacker, Kawan Lewis. Kawan, welcome to the show, my guy.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate y'all.
Man, we appreciate you,
you,
brother.
man.
We definitely appreciate you, brother. And
Mhm.
a lot of Gamecock fans, we know you because shoot, you was there when we was there, so we know you. But a lot of
Yeah.
Gamecock fans might not know you, man. So tell everybody about yourself, bro.
Man, so I was there in from 2012 to 2015. People call those the glory years, man. So won a lot of
Yeah,
football games there. Was there for the Spurrier era. Graduated back in 2015. Was living in Columbia actually for a few years. Probably in 2023, a little bit before that as well. So definitely a staple to the Gamecock family, man. Some great times. So.
for sure, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember one of the big highlights for you, man, when we were playing Clemson and you forced that fumble on special teams, I believe it was.
Yeah, that
And
was that was huge.
it changed it, man. Those what 5 minutes left. You know what I mean? Clemson could have maybe scored again. Maybe I don't know. Cloudy probably got to Josh six more times, but that was a huge play. You know, that was a huge play out of many of the things you did at Carolina. But
For
yeah,
sure.
I mean, for the people that don't remember, man, like Lewis was one of the big names in the linebacker group, and he had a lot of great linebackers during that time, and Lewis was one of them. So we are happy to get his insight, on what went down this past Saturday, and that may be something that we do moving forward because Lewis knows the game. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's
Knows the
he's
game.
still with it, right? So before we get into
Yep,
that,
still
though,
coaching.
that's right. Yep, yep. So he's still coaching, and we're gonna get into his background here in a second. Q, we need to give a shout out to Asia Wilson for winning MVP again in WNBA
All
again.
I'm gonna say, all I'm gonna say to this, and we talked about this before we got on here. They don't, you can't top her, bro. Like what she's done for the city, what she's done for the state, what she's done for Carolina with her
For the
shoes coming
game.
out, and now we with Nike now, and what she's done in the WNBA. Like, hey man, the greatest to ever do it. Like when you look back at it as a person from the 803, person born and raised there, you can't name me another person that's better than Asia Wilson, that's more accomplished than Asia Wilson, bro. You can't name me a person that's came out the city that's better than her. Cola's forever better because Asia done came out our city, bro. And I'm thankful, bro. I'm thankful, man. That is shout out to the 803 legend herself. That is the 803 legend herself, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Kawan, you saw SEC Freshman of the Year. I mean, right in 2015, she was became Freshman of the Year. So you saw a bit of her, right? And that's obviously
Yes,
before
sir.
South Carolina won their national titles in women's basketball. But you were witnessed. You were witnessing it. So it's like to see
Listen,
her
so to
get to that. It's
to see
crazy.
her doing all these things, going from like when we were just eating in the Doty Academic Center where we had all our lunches, dinners, and breakfasts and all that, to grow from that to what she is today and share. Like, I feel blessed to have shared a campus with her and some classrooms and other things. So I'm excited for her. She's definitely a blessing, like you said, to the city. But ultimately, the whole game of women's basketball, I think that she's helped bring such a big presence to that game, and now people are watching that game. People are buying a bunch of tickets to go sit at the WNBA game. So for that purpose, and then what she's done for the University of South Carolina, like you said, we're going Nike now. None of this is possible without God first, but definitely Asia Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's a
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
staple to the University of South Carolina forever, and that's why she got a statue there.
Big
And
facts.
you can't argue her having no statue there. That's what I tell folks all the time, man.
Hmm.
A lot of people want to bring up different people and different things. Hey man, what she accomplished at this school when nobody else was accomplishing them things, like nobody, bro. You can't name another person that was able to do what she was able to do at this school, man, and able to accomplish. in her hometown that she stated, like, I have a statue standing where my grandmother couldn't even walk on the sidewalk at.
That's
Like
deep.
that thing means something, bro. And as someone who's from there and grew up there, I get what she's saying. Like, there were times our family couldn't even walk on that sidewalk, and now, bro, she had a statue there, bro. She has a whole statue there, bro. Like, her grandma will probably shed tears of
Mm.
joy for that, man. And I can't think of another person more deserving. She gave Don a chance when, Don was just in the era of getting people, but starting with Tiffany Mitchell, and you build from there. But Asia could have gone anywhere. UConn, Tennessee was still popping at the time.
Yep.
Like, she could have gone anywhere, but she said, "I'm gonna stay home and do this," and she did.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows it. Like, man, Coach Lewis, you know as well as anybody else, bro. You were on teams where South Carolina guys were littered in that team. Every time we had them littered on that team, what happened, bro? It was nothing but success.
Absolutely. You gotta be able to recruit home. Like, and that's in anything. You have to be able to recruit home because nobody's gonna take care of home like home.
That's
So
facts.
I definitely understand that. And I'm a guy that was coming from New Jersey, but I could understand it. And I got my whole family, my dad's family is from South Carolina, from Mullen, South Carolina. So
See?
that's what made the connection for me at the University of South Carolina was because the University of South Carolina was an extension of home for me because I've always been in the state of South Carolina as a kid, and you know, um, for those reasons. So a lot of people know me from just being from Jersey, but you have to, like I said, you have to be able to recruit home. You have to bring the best in Carolina. Have to come to Carolina.
That's facts. That's facts,
Mm-hmm.
man. That's facts. So shout out to the
100%.
GOAT of the 803, the queen of 803. I mean, you can't say Columbia without Asia, bro. You
No.
can't you care Columbia, South Carolina ain't without Asia. Like, we don't have it, bro. So shout out to
Yep.
her, man. I'm proud of her, and I think she's gonna make a nice little run here. I think she's gonna make a nice little run. I can foresee her taking over and being like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and go get this ring. I can see her topping this off with a ring. So,
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing it.
I can see it. So shout out to Asia Wilson for continuing to be a testament for Columbia, South Carolina, and the state of South Carolina as a whole. I mean, she's just a legend ultimately when it's all said and done. So congratulations to her again. For South Carolina, they found out their next for 4 years, the next three permanent opponents who they're going to be facing. And that's going to be Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky. Georgia, Florida, and Kentucky being the permanent opponents. Which I know for Kwan to hear that, it's like, wait a minute, permanent opponents. Like, we play these guys every year in the SEC. Of course, that's before you
Yeah,
added these other schools in. So, guys, how are we feeling about adding Florida and Georgia back to the schedule?
man, I love it. I
Yeah.
truly, truly love it. I'm actually I love whatever the selection process was to how they were going to come up with these games. I support it, and I'm usually one of the guys who don't support like these different league rulings and the NCAA rulings because they always do it to the benefit of them and not the benefit of the players or the said schools. So this time I have to say and tip my hat, they got it right.
I agree.
We recruit Georgia. That is a big rivalry. A lot of our team is going to consist of South Carolina and Georgia. We got to play those guys every year. It takes away
Mm-hmm.
from the season when you're not playing between the hedges or they're not coming. Just look at all the past battles that we've had with
Mm-hmm.
Georgia. So for me, I was probably most excited about that matchup. Um, the way they did the schedule, it kind of brought back that SEC East feel when you think about it. So those legendary Saturday afternoons or Saturday nights against, Kentucky and Florida. Florida is also another place that in the Spurrier era, we recruited a lot of Florida. We did real well out there. Some of the better players that we've had have come out of Florida when you look at guys like Sky Moore. So to
Mhm.
get these guys, you got to go beat those guys.
You do.
Right.
You do. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Georgia specifically, I was very, very excited about seeing. A lot of people want to look at the record of the rivalry with Georgia and South Carolina, but when you really break it down, especially in the 21st century, those games have been some battles. Those have been some serious battles. Georgia themselves will tell you those have been some serious battles. And a lot of Georgia fans have told me it was kind of weird not having South Carolina on that schedule because that is a place that we are used to going to. That is one of our closer, places that we have, in when it comes to, you know, how things go and what recruiting battles can look like because at the end of the day, you know, as Kwan has said, man, those battles meant something. That
Mm-hmm.
when that Georgia came on the schedule, that battle meant something to everyone in that locker room. That battle meant something, just like how he understanding what the Clemson battle means. That Clemson game means something,
That's right.
and so that's when you look at that, you kind of look into those things. So I'm glad that's on there. I am glad the Florida game's coming back. Florida kind of got lucky because they were not good, and we didn't get to play them while they were not good. So we
Right.
probably would have got a couple more wins there. But glad that one's back, and I'm glad we're keeping that Kentucky one because honestly, Kentucky talks a lot of trash to us, and I feel like we just gonna have to keep showing them who they are to us because
Right.
that's another um, battle that we've dominated for a very long time. And with with three opponents, 9 conference games, so you got 6 rotational games. I think next year you're still, to be honest, some of my sources have told me I think we're still going to see the Missouri game. I think the Missouri game is still going to be there next year. I think the A&M game is still going to be there next year. Texas, from what I heard, is supposed to pop up for us next year. Heard that's another opponent that's supposed to pop up for us next year. So I'm looking forward to seeing, do we catch a Vandy again? I think that left a sour taste, and I hope we get our chance to get our get back on that one.
I hope we get that one.
I hope we get that one, and I really hope we get that one. And one I think a lot of people will kind of shun me out for, but one I really want back, I kind of want a Mississippi State game. I kind of want a Mississippi State game. I don't know what it is about that, but I love when we play Mississippi State. I do. I love when we play Mississippi State. We've had a couple close battles here recently with them. Last one being 2023, where Xavier had an outstanding game.
Yeah.
But I do want that Mississippi State game. I feel like I haven't seen them in a while, and I want to see them again.
I don't think anybody enjoys go to Starkville.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I
Them
don't think that it
Cowbells.
is a pleasant trip from the hotel stay to head into the airport. I think the highlight of the trip is heading to the airport.
I
I
can
feel
believe
you.
that.
As long as we
Yeah.
leave with a win, I'm cool. You ain't gotta worry
Absolutely,
about me.
absolutely.
Yeah, those cowbells can be hell sometimes out there in Mississippi
Yeah.
State and Stark Vegas. But
Yeah.
no, I agree with you guys, man. Bringing that Georgia Florida back into it, man. Just like Kawan said, it's like that SEC East feel, right? Before we added these other schools in, and I still to this day don't quite understand why we did it. Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri A&M. I mean, there's just
Money.
I know why, right? I know
Yeah,
why, and then I
money.
don't know why, right?
Yeah.
I know, money. It's always money at the end of the day, of course, every
Always.
time,
The
always.
What they used to
SEC,
say? Almighty dollar. Almighty
Yeah,
dollar.
yeah,
I feel like the SEC is responsible for giving Oklahoma their aura back. They were getting to be
yeah.
that
Oh.
school that was just they were,
Ooh.
they could run the table in the Big 12 when they get a good team. But I think
Mm-hmm.
now, them being in the SEC, God, recruits want to go to Oklahoma like it's the AP days. Like these, you're getting this the times where they had all of these good players over there, and now they're competing. They're very, very, very relevant. To
Right,
turn it around as fast as they did in the toughest league in the conference, coming out of the Big 12 to come turn it around in the SEC and actually compete from recruiting to playing on the field performance. It kind of looks like they are a perfect fit for the SEC. And also the SEC, like I said, it gave them their aura back. They got a swag about them now.
I think
it's true.
I think it did that, but I also want to throw this nugget in there too. I think it also saved Texas. I think it saved Texas for a few reasons. One being, I don't think Texas would be at the point they're at without the SEC last year. I genuinely don't believe that. I think people would have got bored with what Texas was doing, And so I think that helped them coming into the SEC. I don't think they get Arch without coming into the SEC because I think Arch wanted to play in the SEC. And if Texas didn't come to the SEC or it wasn't known that Texas was coming, I don't think Arch goes there. That is something I genuinely believe. He just doesn't go there. And I think it brought back the competitive juices of Sark because Sark was kind of complacent as well, and which made him lose games he shouldn't be losing when he was in the Big 12 because he just thought all I need to do is just make sure I make it to the Big 12 championship game, win that, and I'm in the playoff. But now he's got to compete. And so with all those factors, I think it saved Texas from becoming from plateauing. Kind of like how you said with Oklahoma, it made Oklahoma back relevant. I think it kept Texas from plateauing because I think if they stayed in the Big 12, they would have plateaued.
But do you see the difference in why people say when people talk to people like us who are big supporters of South Carolina, that when we say we go into the playoffs or we have these high hopes of going to the national championship and different things like that, people remind us that we are y'all still South Carolina, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
what they say
every time.
But
Right.
what you just said, right, about what the SEC did for Oklahoma and Texas, that woke them up to make them remember who they were. So when people remind people of who
I think it's breaking up.
Yeah.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you now.
Yeah. Yeah. Broke up. Yeah.
It broke up.
Oklahoma, who they were, who they are. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. It was breaking up. That's why it
Oh
was. We
yeah,
couldn't hear
they're
you.
not. Those two schools are never middle of the pack schools, as far
Okay.
as tradition and winning and just their history. So I
Right.
think them coming to the SEC, it's giving them.
Big One's having technical difficulties again.
Yeah. But he's right though. Like it did. It helped him. It helped move them. It helped move the needle for them. Like I never thought of it that way. Honestly, I never thought of it that way. But he's 100% right on that. It definitely moved the needle, especially for Oklahoma. If I'm being 110% honest, especially for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was one where their brand is great, but moving to the SEC elevated them back to where they needed to be. I just think Texas. I just genuinely feel Texas didn't go to the SEC. If they stayed in the Big 12, they were going to be right here. They were going to plateau. They were going to plateau because a lot of those kids want to play the highest football. That's a lot of the draw of what Texas does. It's not even a money thing. It's not nothing else. They want to play the highest level of football, and Texas provides that for them. And so that's what the biggest draw to that is. And so I agree with that. I'm intrigued to see. But once again, they always say, yeah, we're South Carolina, but that's why I feel like even going to our next section is that's why games like Vandy and games like Missouri mattered. Those were matter games because if you guys are tired of people saying that about us, if you are tired of people saying like y'all are showing exactly why we say what we say about South Carolina, you got to go out and you got to win those games, bro. You got to show that we've moved the needle of where we were. You guys keep when people say this is a fluke, when they say these things are flukes, when they say this and that, when it comes to South Carolina football, this is what they mean. And Coach Lewis knows this. He knows what I'm talking about when it comes to this is what they mean. You got to win the games you're supposed to win. You got to win these kind of games.
Yeah. No excuse.
Right.
None.
It's no excuse from that standpoint. It's like kind of what we talked about the other night. When you're going out there and you're underperforming in areas that you know you're a lot better in. Like from a defensive standpoint, we're just not tackling. Like we look like a team that just unmotivated. And I know we didn't quite get into that game yet, but it's the performance, the product that we're putting on the field sometimes is it's crazy to me, especially in an era where it's inexcusable because the NIL era has leveled the playing field. If it never has before, South Carolina can do whatever they want now, especially when you have
Mhm.
schools like Arizona State will be going to the 12-team playoff year one and things like that. We would have never ever considered Arizona State into any type of championship level football last year without 12-team playoff. So it's no excuse now for Coach Beamer and the rest of the University of South Carolina and any other school out there to not put a product on the field that is capable of going to a national title game or going to the playoffs. Let's say that.
Mhm. Well, I mean, you have expectations put on you, and it was quite simple to, I mean, to get to 5-0 Q. I mean, the path was there. We've talked about
The
it before the season started.
the path was there, bro. The path to the playoffs was laid out pretty well. And the sad part about the situation, in my personal opinion, is you're losing games because of you. It's not a lack of something. It's genuinely because of you. It's a will. Like there's no way 14 penalties would have happened on a 2011 team that had a chance to go to a playoff. That's not going to happen. That's if you presented to Melvin Ingram, Stephon Gilmore, Devontae Holloman, DJ Swearinger, Connor Shaw, Garcia, Lattimore, you hand those guys Alshon, Toy Gurley, Devin Taylor, Kelsey Kors, you hand those guys, you tell them at the beginning of the year, hey, if we run this table, we're going to the playoffs. I
Mhm.
guarantee you, I guarantee you without a shadow of a doubt, I would put everything I own on the table that we're not only we're going to make the playoffs, we would be a top 4 seed with a bye.
I, I don't necessarily think that it's a play. It's definitely how we're playing on the field. So don't get me wrong with that. But I don't think that we don't have the talent to like I don't think that Vanderbilt has ever out recruited us in the classes that would have performed on the field this month.
Never.
That when we just played, they haven't had better recruiting classes than us last December, the December before that, and the December before that. So
Right.
I will say I don't think that they had better players than us, but their motivation to be what they were and what they are now, they're just outplaying us, and that's why I'm thinking that we have to look at practice. We have to figure out maybe we're not practicing physical. Like we look like when Missouri punched us in the mouth while we were on defense, we just couldn't just stop the bleeding. Like, and everybody's talking about, oh, they gave us 2 stops, to get to in the fourth quarter to be able to score and go up, and that's great, right? That is great. That I don't discredit the stops, but how you play the game, we should not have. The score does not indicate what really happened out there. So
Hmm.
I think when people say these things about them giving our offense the ball back twice, we're minimizing what really happened out there. We're acting like certain things were not the problem.
Same
Yeah.
thing I say when it comes to Sellers. You can sit there and say, well,
Well,
Sellers had this passing game, but Sellers also had 3 interceptions dropped. Three
he did.
interceptions were dropped.
He did.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, and
But,
we,
you can't take that
but a
away.
lot goes into that. I think a lot goes into that when you are sometimes you're seeing ghosts and sometimes you're seeing real people. When he's sitting back there in the pocket, he's never got a chance to truly be comfortable and say, "Hey, my O line has always just delivered."
mhm.
And I think now in the situation that he's in, it's kind of tough. It's hard to settle in back there because you never know what you're going to get. He never knows what he's going to get from an offensive line standpoint, from a protection standpoint. We also went out there and we survived and stayed in that game based off of Hail Mary circumstances. When we needed a big play,
Facts.
the big play was happening. But we were not
Sure.
putting together great drives. Like we never had like just strong drives throughout the game to milk the clock and all these different things. We didn't have what Missouri had, I'll tell you that.
No.
We
We couldn't
gave
even
up
hit the
5
intermediate.
sacks.
We couldn't
They
even hit
had
the
0
intermediate.
sacks.
We
No.
couldn't hit
We
the
had
intermediate,
0
bro.
sacks.
Yeah. It's a problem. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Because South Carolina goes to Missouri. They haven't won there since 2017, and they fall 29-20. And this is a team that their defense statistically wasn't great. 6 sacks against 3 opponents that are inferior. I mean, they're not good at all. You had Central Arkansas. One was Kansas, and the other one before that was like Louisiana Lafayette, and you got 6 sacks off of that. And you would have thought, hey, South Carolina potentially could maybe figure things out. Potentially, maybe, right? 5 sacks. South Carolina allowed 5 sacks from our offensive line. And it gets to a point, guys. It
I mean,
gets to
all
a
those
point.
sacks weren't on the offensive line, but I get what you're saying.
Well,
5
no, they
sacks in
weren't,
general,
but
yeah. But
right,
5 sacks in
right.
general was embarrassing.
And sure, I mean, one of them was covered sack, but still, it's just the fact of the matter is we still can't. We have no rushing game. That was not -9 yards, -6 yards. This is the first time that we've had that since the 80s. I mean, it's not good, guys.
I went back and watched the game. I went back and watched the game.
We said free Sewell. We said free Sewell for a long time.
The issue I had, the issue I'm gonna keep bringing up is if practice means so much to this to what goes on in a day-to-day basis. If practice is the end all be all, and if you're playing in the game, if you're getting if that's the case, why is it that guys are outperforming people that are supposedly doing what needs to be done in practice? This is the 3rd time this year that Tree Babalati has came into a game and outperformed someone who is starting because of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Smith, when he gets his opportunities, he was hurt this last time, but when he gets his opportunities, outperforms. And one of the first things that was asked when Michael Smith wasn't playing game 1 was brought up about practice. And I'm struggling so much with this practice thing, especially when you talk about what Kwan has said several times. If we're not even practicing physically, which would make the difference, because I'm going to be honest with you, Spurrier's practices were more difficult than those games. Spurrier's practices were twice as hard as the game you were about to play. Not just because of the talent that was on the field, but because of how physical it got out there. Guys got after it. And so we hear about it, but some of the things I've seen, it doesn't matter practice or not. If I'm trying to win a game, if I'm trying to make this win, there are guys that can practice well but cannot perform under those lights. There are guys who just can't do it. They're not going to give you what you need under the lights. And there are guys who value the game more than practice, and it's going to show on game day how much they value the game over practice. I can't think of a time Tree has been beat. I can't. I genuinely can't give you that.
Doesn't happen often. If it does, not at all.
So now it goes back to now. Are you really playing your best players? Well, the answer to that is no. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. The answer to it is no. And that's a quick way to get you in a lot of trouble. And with this era here, especially the NIL era, look at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just told you, hey, we finna have these boys above $200 million in the athletic budget. But what they're really saying is a lot of money finna go towards this football thing. And whatever is after that is whatever is after that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I got questions. I don't have a problem, and I want to say this too. So a lot of this gets brought up a lot. I don't have a problem with that play call on 1st and goal. We weren't running the ball well anyways, so I don't have a problem with the play call. Faison's got a block there. You can't fall there. You got a block there. You got to put your body on somebody and make a play. Running the ball there wasn't the answer. Running the ball 4 straight times, especially when you have negative yards, isn't the answer. Obviously, we're not running the ball wasn't working. So taking that sack there was way worse than throwing the ball away. So I had a lot of issues with that specific play. But I just wanted to let it be known I didn't have an issue with the play call. But I'll leave it to you, Coach Lewis. Can you hear him, FG?
No, I can't. Coach Lewis, I can't hear you for some
We
reason
can't
on
hear
your
you
end.
for a second.
It's like Bluetooth or something connected that can happen at times. So as he's getting that.
See if that works.
Let's see, as he's taking care of that real quick. I think there he is.
How about now?
Yep, we got him. Yep, you're good. Oh, he had him for a second.
Can you hear me?
Cutting in and out.
Yeah, it was cutting in and out. Maybe he's coming back.
Yeah, probably so. But as he's coming back here real quick, I'll go with PFF grades. We got to do it. We got to go over this thing with PFF grades, and obviously not beautiful, not pretty at all. And just get ready, man. This is a lot of red, and it had all of us seeing red, right? Yeah, Vicari Swain. I'm gonna go with some positives. Vicari Swain, 84 and 84. Gabriel Brinlow Dindy at 47.9, and Brian Thomas Jr. at 41.9. Justin O, another good game for Justin O at 82. Brandon Cisse, another good game from him, 81.8. Jalen Kilgore, 65.4. Nick Barrett, 76.1. 73.0 for JT Gear. David Busey at a 52. Dylan Stewart, you were a 5-star guy. You were a 5-star guy. You're a monster. You practice really, really well. I know you do. But 33.3? 33.3? You're better than that. 52.6 for Fred Johnson. Sean Murphy at a 37.4. Markel Goodwine at a 29.2. Miles Norwood at a 52.9. Desmond Umeozulu coming in on the green side at 73.4. Troy Pikes at
he came back. I tried to tell folks he was gonna have. I told you I tried to tell folks about him.
That's where it gets bad though, Q, for one of your favorites. 22.3 for Troy Pikes, and Peyton Williams. 22.5. 22.5 for Peyton Williams.
This was not a good day for Peyton struggled. We put him in bad positions. Peyton struggled, but At least he gives effort.
Right.
That's something I can't say everybody is.
Sure.
Yeah, it was bad, bro. At the end of the day, the team's got to figure out what they want to do. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I mean it's tough there. I mean, on the offensive side of things, we'll get into that as well, right? The blocking grades. Rodney Newsom a 60.2, passing block 83.7 on the passing block. Nolan Hay 81.7. Shed Surratt 77.9. Kason Harry is 72.1. Jordan Dingle 67.9. And Tree Babalade 65.4. Josiah Thompson. We need a conversation. Another 5-star guy. What has happened? What has happened, Josiah? 47.4 for Josiah Thompson. 35.1 for Boaz Stanley. Brady Hunt, 28.7. Rosal Faison, no surprise here, at a 17.2. A 17.2.
And I know we'll get into it Thursday, but when I look at what happened at Missouri, that can't happen again. You need to run the ball against Kentucky. You need to establish the run. You need to hit intermediate passes. You guys need to come out and look like a team that wants to make a run and wants to be relevant. And that starts Saturday night at 7:45 in Williams-Brice Stadium. So it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
I'm no longer dwelling on it. I'm no longer dwelling on the past of this. I'm letting you know now, if you guys want to be serious about this, we're going to have to do this. And this is what's going to have to look like.
Look, I give credit where credit's due for Missouri. I'm going to, because when you got a guy like Ahmad Hardy out of the transfer portal, a guy I think from Louisiana, one of those schools, and he's already, I mean, his stats are just stupid right now. I mean, they are Heisman numbers when it's all said and done from where we are right now in the part of the season. Obviously, still early, but he's a baller. Kid, I mean, despite the bad tackling, he made the most out of it, and he kept the play going.
I agree.
He showed off what he can do. So, hate it or love it. At the end of the day, you have to appreciate what he did. And I don't like who he did it to, and I don't like the way he did it to us. But the guy can play. The guy can play. And, Eli, he saved Jamal Roberts for the fourth quarter. He saved him up. The total South Carolina. Yeah, it hurt. I mean, South Carolina got ran over, man. 285 yards rushing.
It's sickening.
285 yards rushing that was allowed. Marquise Johnson for Missouri. I'll say he's a special kind of Swiss Army knife kind of guy, man. 80 yards against us. He looked really good. I do want to give a shout out where I can give shout outs to, obviously, Vandrevious Jacobs, 128 yards and 7 receptions, 1 touchdown. The guy had stick hands. I don't know, man. He made some great catches against Missouri. And Brian Rowe Jr. bringing in his first touchdown, man. Brian Rowe getting his first touchdown as a Gamecock. And it was a nice one. It was a really, really nice one. Talking about QB1, obviously, as Kwan said before he got disconnected, Lenoris didn't have a terrible game by any means. Not a terrible game. Didn't have a great game. Did not have a good game, but didn't have a terrible game. It was somewhere in that middle of the road, even though he threw for 302 yards, right?
Correct.
Same time, 18 for 28. His QBR was 68.9. A 68.9. Now, he made some great throws in this one, Q. There is no doubt about that. But as Kwan said, and I think he was seeing ghost in this game from what happened last game.
I agree.
He didn't look comfortable in the pocket. He did not look comfortable when he had to go on the run. I think these things can clear up. I do. Having a head trauma injury or any kind of injury like that in the upper body area. I mean, it's not. It can last. It can linger. So hopefully he shakes it off.
I hope he's good.
He does what he needs to do. That's right. And I think he is. I think he is. And from what we saw from Lenoris, I think he's going to be okay. I really do. There are a lot of people that are doubting him right now. But, when I'm looking at this right now, 302 yards through the air, he did miss some passes, of course, right? And there were some janky plays that were called. I don't know why we're throwing. What was it? It wasn't in the fourth quarter. It was second down, third down, maybe it was, and then he's out here throwing toward the sideline, like 40 yards down. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we not going across the middle? Because they were spying Lenoir's the whole time.
It was open.
I don't understand that part. But this ultimately does fall on, sure. I mean, some quarterback reads from Lenoir's, his decisions in this game, and also the defense, the tackling, the lack thereof tackling. I have not seen this bad tackling in, Muschamp years.
That was terrible.
I mean,
I ain't really had no words for it, man. That was bad.
No, the touchdown right there, Dylan had him and he let him go.
I don't know what their issue was, but yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you think, he's a sophomore in college, but talent, scouts are watching this stuff now. Your film starts when you're a freshman in college. You are judged your freshman year in college. It all starts. So even though he's a sophomore and he's going to be draft eligible next year, the scouts are already watching. And they're already putting this in their mind. They are already putting it in their mind. Hey, he didn't do this his sophomore year. And if they don't see that effort, the effort to a full 180, they don't see your run defense get better. They don't see your passing defense, you making more attempts, more effort. I don't know, man. It's mind-boggling. I understand. You get frustrated, not getting to the quarterback. You're getting held all game. I get it. It's happened to a lot of guys before you, though.
Just gotta play through it, bro. You gotta play through it, man. You gotta play through it.
And I think that's a testament not having a guy like Travian Robertson on the sideline.
It is.
I'm sorry. And what happened to Travian was out of his control. Thank God he's still with us.
Yeah.
And people always say, "Oh, Travian's just a guy. He can recruit a little bit, but what he do does not make a difference." When I told you guys last time, when I interviewed, Kyle Kennard, now out there in Mobile, and when we had these conversations, TJ Sanders, and they said how much of a difference that having Travian made for them.
That's all I'm saying.
I think we're seeing it.
We are.
And sure, the defensive line didn't play terrible. They haven't. They still didn't get to the quarterback once. That didn't happen. Could have happened. Should have happened, but it didn't.
Correct.
Right? And the piss poor tackling right there on the line. That's your front defense. If you let him get past you, that's on you.
Correct.
That is on you. I don't care. Yeah, you got your linebackers there. Justin O, Fred Johnson, Murphy. And I'm like, God, Murphy, man, learn to tackle, buddy. But your first line of defense is right there.
You got to make it shake.
You have to. This is why your grades are so bad.
Yeah, you got to make it shake.
If people say, "Oh, PFF grades don't matter," okay. We watched the game. We watched the same game, right?
Got to make it shake, baby. That's all I got to say. Got to make it shake.
It boggles my mind, Q.
It does.
It boggles my mind. So where do we go from here? That's the thing. So, as Kwan, if we're trying to wait him to get back, he's having a Wi-Fi issue. But we talked about this after the game Saturday night, and it's the way practice is going, right? Q, we talked about how practices have been going and what's probably not happening. And from what he was talking about, and we'll get him on the show to talk about himself too, that these guys maybe aren't practicing hard enough, that they're maybe not doing what they need to in practice to begin with.
At the end of the day, it'll show. And I'm going to go over it more on Thursday with Kentucky, but it'll show. We'll find out what we're made of. 2-2 on the season. Kentucky's coming in town. We'll find out.
Yeah, that's it. Before we wrap it up real quick, coverage grades, because people are going to be asking about that. Gerald Kilgore, 87.8. No surprise there. Bakari Swain, 75.6. David Busey at 65.2. Fred Johnson, 64.8. 63.8 for Jalen Kilgore. Just a note, at 62.5. Brandon Cisse at 58.6. I don't know about that one. Miles Norwood at 54. Sean Murphy at 54. And Peyton Williams at a 46.5. So You got punched in the mouth. Shake it off. And don't let this run into this weekend.
That's all I can say. Don't let it run into this weekend.
That's it.
That's it, brother.
Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. I mean, the wide
Yes,
receiver
sir.
group, Q, I think we can brag about how great they've been.
Yeah, they just got to keep going, and we just got to get the ball to them.
And Coach Fergie's done a fantastic job with them.
Yeah.
He's done a really, really good job with them. So I don't know. We'll talk about Kentucky on Thursday. We'll break that game down. We'll get into the nitty-gritty with that, and just let's see how we do this week, man. Let's shake this loss off, and we got to get back to what we know. Get back to the basics, the fundamentals, technique. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing?
We'll find out.
Yes, we will. Well, Q, do you have anything else before we wrap it up, my guy?
That'll do it.
Very good. Well, guys, appreciate y'all tuning in live. Welcome on podcasts on Facebook, YouTube, X. We appreciate Kwan Lewis joining as he was able to. Like I said, a little Wi-Fi issues at the end, but we'll get him back in the future to talk more ball. He's the guy to talk to, of course. But guys, we appreciate you too. Welcome on podcast, just for Voice of South Carolina on the Believe Network on Apple and Spotify. You can rate and review the show over there, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.